Attention all holiday heroes. The Light Toy Drive is here to spread joy. WSJS is proud to join forces with The Light for their annual toy drive. Legendary radio personality, the Boss Lady, Anita Dean Arnett, has been sharing love with Triad families for 25 years. This is your chance to help make Christmas dreams come true for children in our community.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. We gonna have a Merry Christmas.
Donate new unwrapped toys for boys and girls ages 1 through 10 by dropping them off at 4405 Providence Lane, Suite D in Winston-Salem. Whether you're a longtime supporter or new to the cause, your generosity will light up the holidays for many. To request help for your children ages 1 through 10, email christmas@truthnetwork.com. Deadline is December 12th. Thank you to our sponsors, the law offices of Timothy D. Wellborn, Dario, and Piedmont Trucks. Let's make this Christmas unforgettable. Get all the details at WSJS.com.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Hi, I'm Jay Delsing, a two-time All-American and PGA Tour veteran of 25 years. I know the game of golf inside and out. Each week, we'll feature celebrity golfers, share their laughs, inside stories, and offer great tips to improve your golf game.
I wanna swing, don't you wanna swing with me?
Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem, proudly serving our community for over 50 years. That's Golf with Jay Delsing, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on WSJS.
Waking Up Prowled on WSJS.
Watch out, I'm coming for you now.
Fueling fans, flavor, and fun.
Wake up, I'm turning things around.
The morning show that's always on the prowl.
Make way for the king.
This is Waking Up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
Today's a very big day. Championship Saturday. We got Trade Anything Day going on at GameStop. We're going to talk about both of those here on Waking Up Proud. But it doesn't pale in comparison to this being the inaugural episode. My name is Steven, and I appreciate you joining us here this morning. 9 to 11, Waking Up Proud, brand new show here on WSJS, a part of the Prowled Sports family, and you can find all that information at prowledsports.com. The background for me is a storied tenure of a lot of different things, and I'm not going to bore you to death, but over the course of this show, I hope we'll get to know one another. I would encourage you to get involved because it is just me on Saturday mornings right here with you. So your calls are welcome anytime at 336-777-1600. We're live as well on X and on YouTube. You can watch the programs if you just follow along with me on X at Stephen Beck PS. Or if you're just more into the audio side and not wanting to look at my ugly mug, that is certainly a face for radio, you can do that on WSJS.com and the app that they have as well. So excited to really get this thing rolling on what I already said is a big day. We've got a lot of topics to get to, but I'll tell you one thing. I like to really get people amped up, and I will try to serve as your kick out of bed on Saturday mornings, a bit of coffee in your cup. And so I'm going to give away some coffee right here. First episode. There's got to be some original, the OGs out there of WSJS, a long tenured station here in the Triad, all across High Point, Greensboro, Winston. And some time ago, I'll say that, I already was a part of these airwaves for a very small world scenario for me. I've circled back. They just can't get rid of me. And so for those that are the OGs and they can message me on our show feed. You can do that, like I said, at Stephen Beck PS on X. If you can message our show feed and tell me what the name of the former WSJS show was that I was a part of, I'm going to bless you today with a bag of some of the best coffee beans that you've ever had from our friends at Foster Hobbs Coffee, the roastery there in High Point. And we're, in fact, actually going to hear from Pam Foster, who is a part of that team at Foster Hobbs, coming up on today's show. Because one of the things that you will find out about me is that I am addicted. I'm an addict of coffee, and especially iced coffee. That's my go-to. And so to get to know me, but also help you as we swing into the holiday time, and as you're trying to get up and get things going for the weekend stretch here, I felt like you might be interested to know how to really make a good cup of iced coffee. That's my jam. That's what I'm into. So we're going to hear from Pam coming up here this hour on Waking Up Proud. But I want to tell you that there could be some confusion over the name Prowled. And I have tried my best in my Southernese to work on my diction and really not confuse the cuteness that I tried to have when I created the name and created the site prowledsports.com. But I was a High Point University alum, born and raised in High Point. I'm a local guy. I'm just a dude. And to be honest with you, I'm a fan of sports. I'm a fan of food. I'm a fan of NC culture. And that's really what I'm looking to bring you on Saturday mornings, just so you have an idea, an expectation, because I realize that all this is very much new and fresh. So Prowler is the mascot at my beloved High Point University. And that is where Prowled Sports and Waking Up Proud, all of it began. And last night, my team did get a victory. We'll be also hearing from head coach of the Panthers, Flynn Clayman, and we'll see about what his thoughts were. They bounced back with a victory against NJIT after a bit of a stumble earlier this week against Southern Illinois. So as I said, tons to get to. First and foremost, though, that's going to be Bryce Young, the quarterback of the Panthers, being extremely untrustworthy. Those are my thoughts, and they'll be coming up here on Waking Up Proud.
Basketball, reloaded by John Shire, is ready for another March run.
Everybody know that we light up the court. We on fire and we burning up the world.
Experience the passion, the pride, the power that is Duke basketball. Today, the Blue Devils visit the Michigan State Spartans. Catch every moment on WSJS. Complete schedule at WSJS.com.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon, with big bank reliability and small bank resolve. You get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, Do it for less at Harbor Freight.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. Waking Up Prowled with Stephen Beck on WSJS.
It is Waking Up Proud, and my name is Stephen, here a part of WSJS. Don't forget ProwledSports.com as well, because that's where you'll get a small glimpse of this show as you go throughout your week. The Carolina Panthers are not a part of this big weekend that I alluded to before. They are on a bye. But that won't keep me from thinking about them. Likely the Panthers fans are in the same boat there and agree, because finally, after what feels like an eternity from a fan's perspective, they're in a playoff hunt, and they're actually something that's worthwhile thinking about. Ordinarily, I'll be honest with you, this time in the season, I have honestly turned away from their games, even giving of my time to focusing on them for better games that are on the NFL schedule. But what I think a lot of Panthers fans aren't considering as they think about the team and this playoff run is that they're going nowhere. All while everyone feels like they're making strides. The offensive line certainly is. And they've got a running game between Rico Dowdle and his performances that I would argue have been the best player on the Panthers roster. The team as a whole is still trapped because Bryce Young, their quarterback, is untrustworthy. I am a fan of Bryce off the field. I want to say that because he and I share a lot of similar things and values. And from just a perspective that I carry with me as being an employer of people, I can easily see how the Panthers, in time they spent with Bryce leading up to the draft, thought that he would be a great representative of their franchise, and being somebody that was extremely respectful and a good leader. But that doesn't always mean that just because he is those things, that will equate to allowing our Panthers team to play their best football. And there are outliers in there. Don't mistake it. The game that he had against Atlanta, where he threw for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns, a franchise record, that is real. The game where the Panthers beat the LA Rams, that's real. But I think that there's greater inconveniences that are resulting from Bryce Young being the quarterback that are affecting this team. If you disagree, of course, 777-1600. But Bryce, as a case study, is an interesting dude. And I'm somebody that is solely looking at this from wanting to see the franchise here in the state get back to a Super Bowl like they were in 2015, but actually win it this time. And so when we start thinking about Bryce Young, which it is also relevant to this week's show because stories and news have come out to say that it is very likely that the Panthers will pick up his fifth-year option. And I have some of the finances on that. That goes into part of the discussion. It has to. But when you start looking at all the different inconveniences that he has imposed on other aspects of the team, I don't think that they can win a Super Bowl that way. And that's what I'm in to. I'm not wins having some success against two of the best teams in the league this year in Green Bay and also the LA Rams. That's great. And for fodder amongst the fans around the Thanksgiving holiday we just got done, I'm sure that there was some positive discussions and happy days that seemed like everything was hunky-dory. But this goes to the end result for me, and that is, can the Panthers, with this guy being their quarterback, actually win the big one and be Super Bowl champs? And I'll tell you why, from my perspective, that's going to be difficult. We'll start just with Bryce Young's performances actually on the field. I already said he's had those outliers where, yes, he's shown glimpses like he'll be the next Tom Brady. You'll see the memes out there. I know on social media, folks that are into making their picks on the weekends and expecting one result out of the Panthers and Bryce maybe at an individual level, they'll post up a meme that showcases, well, when I pick against Bryce Young, he performs like Tom Brady. But on the general and more consistent level, he is not achieving anything different in his third year, I would argue, than what we've really seen from him over the course of his full seasons with the Carolina Panthers. I've actually got Will Dalton with me, and I'm going to bring him into this discussion as well. Will Dalton is a part of The Drive in the afternoons here on WSJS with Josh. Will, what's up, man?
Is this why I was up at 7 o'clock this morning right
here?
Yeah,
I'm dragging you out of bed because I know that you go inside the locker rooms. You're in and around the team, and I actually have a question for you. That's why I wanted to go ahead and introduce you now. But part of my argument here is that Bryce's inconsistencies, his failures, his interceptions, his quarterback ratings like he had against Jacksonville and New Orleans and San Francisco, one of those being against the 49ers was a 13.9 QBR rating in a loss 20-9 against the 49ers. A lot of times people will say wins, losses, all this can't come back and fall on the shoulders of Bryce. It just can't. It can't be his sole lone fault. It goes much deeper than that. But my argument is that all of those things from Bryce are pushing outward on everybody else, leading to more of the problems. And so I'll say this. We used to have a defensive coordinator that would be on everybody's short list or radar for taking over a head coaching vacancy. And now, 2 years removed, I would say he'll be pretty comfortable staying in Charlotte for a while. Now, you could say, well, that's on the defensive side. Bryce doesn't play defense. He's not in those meeting rooms, film rooms, or any of that. What I would say is if your team is not being efficient and effective on the offensive side, more stress, more angst is put on the opposite side of the ball. Now, everybody's trying to figure out ways to make up for the shortcomings. So now a guy like our defensive players, you could say any of them, pick any of them, they're having to play out of their shoes to try to create turnovers, do things that they ordinarily should be doing anyways, but they're having to go above and beyond just the general ask to make up for those shortcomings. Another way of potentially looking at it. 2 years ago, this team drafted Bryce and took him as the first overall pick. And at that time, there was a different staff in place. And so last season, as we have Dave Canales' era beginning in Charlotte, he is obviously somewhat hamstringed by who his starter is going to be. The writing was already on the wall, and he took the job realizing that. But 2 games into the season, I guarantee you that he wasn't happy about that being the case. You know why I know that? Because he put him on the bench 2 games into Bryce's second season. And so what that tells me is, for the overarching overall look at the coach and his quarterback relationship, yeah, you'll see him high-five and you'll see him dapping each other up and happy as some of these wins roll out. But I would say behind Dave's office door that's closed, he's not as comfortable. And so the 5th-year option news that came out this week, talking about the Panthers being most likely to pick up that option for Bryce Young, it doesn't surprise me. Because, yes, Bryce has had these outliers and these successes at times. And so the Panthers don't have tons of options other than to pay the man and keep him around. But they're also not re-upping separate negotiations to sign him onto a longer-term contract. And so back to WD, Will Dalton, you're in the locker room. You see the players. My question for you was, were you there a couple of weeks ago when Rico Dowdle did not receive his lion's share of carries, and you could tell he was clearly disappointed?
Which game was this? Who did they play that game?
This was a couple of weeks prior to, it was the game before they played the LA Rams, and they won at home.
So the Niners.
Yes.
So that one, excuse me. So that was in San Francisco. So no, the Monday Night Football game. So I was not at that game. But that was part of the issue, is that the Panthers, that whole game was just a mixed bag of things. But they went away from their identity of running the football. I think they ran it. I think Rico got like 6 carries or something like that. And that's just, that's not the Panthers' bag. They are always at their best when they are keep pounding the football, when they're running the foot. Look at Chuba Hubbard this last week against the Rams. He said he was finally 100% feeling himself, and they ran it with Chuba, and guess what? The Panthers upset the best team in the NFC. So, yeah, Rico was definitely disappointed by that. He had a little bit of a cryptic tweet with the, I'm confused face emoji after the game. But I mean, he was asked about it the next day by reporters, and he and Dave Canales, they hashed it out. He was just like, yeah, I was a little frustrated. He owned up to it. He didn't hide from the fact that, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't post. No, he owned up because everybody was like, why ain't you running it with Rico?
But you see, you just completed part of my argument for me, and that is that the team is at their best when
they're running the ball.
When they're running the ball. And I don't necessarily think that has to be their identity if Bryce Young wasn't the quarterback.
Well, the thing about Bryce, and the thing is he going to be the quarterback that just puts the team on his back and carries them? No, that's not his game. But at the same time, he's certainly done a lot of things to warrant him getting that 5th-year extension, which they have picked up that option. They did do that this week. I think that benching last year after week 2 really did him some good. Did it? That's the thing. Did it really alter who he has been? I certainly think so.
As a quarterback.
I certainly think so. I mean, if you look at the last couple of months of last year where you had the Atlanta game, and I don't remember the exact teams they play. The Chiefs, where they didn't win the game, but they were in position to beat both of the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. If Xavier Legette doesn't drop a dime of a ball thrown by Bryce Young downfield in Philly last year, they beat the Eagles, who were the Super Bowl champ. So I certainly think that benching did do him some good. He played really well down the stretch of last year. They ended up winning 5 games, but the 5 games requires context. And now they've won 7, and he has 11 game-winning drives.
I do realize
11.
that. I do realize that.
He shines in the 4th.
The best he shines, quite frankly, when all odds are against him, which is something that is unique to him. I would just argue again that we don't have to let it get to that point, but we can continue arguing. We'll be back here on Waking Up Prep.
The NFL is your ticket to heart-pounding action exclusively on WSJS. Experience Sunday night primetime, Monday night football, and Thursday night primetime like never before. Plus, catch Sunday afternoon doubleheaders that keep you on the edge of your seat. Hear every play live and dive deeper with NFL Preview and NFL Insider every Sunday morning. Check the full schedule at WSJS.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Love is the answer. Community is the context. City with Dwellings works to create change and cultivate a community of care so that people can move with dignity from trauma and homelessness to healing and housing stability. City with Dwellings serves people in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County experiencing homelessness and housing security with an intentional focus on individuals experiencing unsheltered homelessness, living in places not fit for human habitation. For volunteer opportunities, visit City with Dwellings on Broad Street in Winston-Salem or visit their website, citywithdwellings.org.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey, everybody, I'm Jeffrey Griffin. Join me and Christian Snyder and kick off your work week with Cookies with Santa, magical musical moments. Hooray for Hollywood. Plus, we'll get in touch with the gang at the Winston-Salem Symphony, McAdenville, and the Winston-Salem Pops Chorus. That and a whole lot more on Triad today.
Grab your coffee. Join the conversation with Stephen Beck on WSJS.
I'm the king of the throne. You either winning or you losing, so to each of their own.
It's Waking Up Prowled.
It's Waking Up Proud here on WSJS, and I am Stephen. Thank you. It's Waking Up Proud. It's Waking Up Proud here on WSJS, and I am Stephen. Thank you for joining us again this morning. Anytime, don't forget to follow along with us on ProwledSports.com and also myself on X at Stephen Beck PS. As we're getting more comfortable with one another, I felt like a great intro to myself would be to share, honestly, at this point, it's an addiction for me, and that is my love for coffee. And there are folks that I am the most fond of in what they do, who they are, and so I wanted to share them with you, and that is Mike and Pam at Foster Hobbs Coffee in High Point. Always go and take a look at what they have to offer on their website, fosterhobbs.com. But we have Pam with us today. How are you?
Hello, Stephen. How are you? I'm well.
I'm good too. I anytime that I'm around coffee, it would be hard to say otherwise. One of my addictions that I'm trying to find ways to do it in the most healthy form and fashion that I can, but truly, it's coffee. And for me, I tell people I love it iced. Iced coffee year round, doesn't matter. In fact, actually, I'll ask you this, Pam. Have you heard the saying that I think it's an old sailors type thing from people that actually legit were on boats, they would say that when it's cold out, drink iced coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's hot out, drink hot coffee. And somehow that regulates your body temperature.
I've never heard that, but that makes sense.
It's a saying. I don't know. I've never really studied a whole lot because I'm just iced coffee year round. Doesn't matter. Cold out, iced coffee, hot out, iced coffee. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to learn more of the best brewing tactics to do that, because it's hard to screw up Foster Hobbs coffee. I'll say it always tastes good in a lot of ways, but there's got to be things I'm doing that could refine that and be better.
Okay. Can I just back up?
Of
Because
course.
This is something I'm very interested in. Did you drink coffee when you went to school at High Point U?
So the funny story is I used to do morning radio, talking wake up 3 a.m. My first job before I even graduated at High Point. And I did not drink coffee then. So the addiction has come on later in my adulthood. And it wasn't for any particular reason of like, well, now I'm waking up with kids or I got to get up early. None of that even affects me, to be fair. If it's nighttime and I have coffee, I can snooze in 2 minutes.
I can too. Me too. Well, I think I'm interested in that just because I think it's fun to think about what the students are doing on campus. And actually, my love for iced coffee came from my friends at High Point University. They're the ones that I never had iced coffee until I met them. And still today, 1 o'clock, it's time to have iced coffee.
Got to get the little pick-me-up.
Right, exactly.
It's become more popular with some of the larger brand stores doing different drink options and making it something that's more commonplace and available.
And year round. That was it. And what's so funny in the South, we drink iced tea all the time, but you just never really saw until the last, how long do you think it's been that iced coffee has become popular? 8 years?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that it's, like you said, it's probably also geographically different because I think iced coffee, my wife being from the North, I've seen this. I think it's probably been a little bit more popular up north before it moved south.
Right. I think you're right.
But if we're going to jump in and make a good iced coffee, what do you suggest?
The thing that you need, and it's not, I mean, if you can scramble an egg, you can make a great cup of coffee.
I'm in luck. Cooking has never been my forte. So
you just start with fresh roasted coffee, specialty grade. That's the highest grade. So that's what you get with us at Foster Hobbs Coffee. So you start with great coffee, good tasting water. We use filtered water, and that's been purified, but it still has minerals added to it for taste. And then a vessel. And so you can add stuff like scales and that type of thing to keep your brewing method consistent. But really, that's all you need.
Well, this is a good question here then. At home, I am still probably one of the fewer ones out there that have well water. Is that a positive or is that a negative when it comes to brewing coffee?
It is a subjective thing. And you can go test your water, But as long as you like the taste of your water, coffee is 99% water. If you like the taste of that water and you like what you're brewing, that's perfect for you.
At this point, I've never had a spoon stand up straight in a mug or something for the water. So I think I'm safe. I haven't tested it. But I mean, it is probably an acquired thing. I personally, and we're not here necessarily to deep dive into aquatics, but I think that well water generally for me tastes better than something that's like a city water.
And I am not a chemist, and so I can't even really talk on the extraction with well water and the minerals that are in there, whether that's good or bad. But I still always just go back to, because it doesn't have to be difficult. Sometimes people just make things difficult. And Mike and I just like to make things enjoyable. And so if you enjoy that water and you're enjoying what you're brewing, it's perfect.
I want to backtrack in a moment, but here at Foster Hobbs, you all have a lot of different blends as well. You have Colombian, Brazilian. Right now, I'm personally hooked on the Ethiopian. Is it Yirgacheffe? Yirgacheffe. Okay. Pronunciation here in the South.
You did actually very well.
Okay, good. But that's been my go-to for iced coffee, is there one of those that is better than another?
Nope. It is all about, we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. We're all different. And for example, Mike loves Latin American coffees. He likes the nuttiness of the chocolate undertones in a coffee. I love African coffees because I like the bright citrus notes. And especially in that Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, you get some ginseng spiciness in it. And when you do it in a iced coffee, like a flash chill method, it really brings it out. It's very vivacious and alive. And that's what I like. So then we do the redhead blend or our Christmas blend that has all of it in it. But just because someone likes Ethiopian coffee or someone likes Kenyan coffee, which is definitely one of my favorites, that doesn't mean everyone has to enjoy that.
To be honest with you want to know why I picked up Ethiopian?
Why?
Mike, the brain trust of Foster Hobbs mixing and matching, I feel like. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
I trust his palate. I trust his suggestion. And he said the hip people are drinking the Ethiopian. So
you are so hip.
No, that was a reach for me. I said I gotta go with what the hip people are doing then.
Well, it is funny. We've been doing this since 2012, and we are a small roasting company in High Point, North Carolina. So it's not like we're in Seattle and brewing it for thousands of people a day. But from our experience, there is a definite, when people come in who are really, really interested in the science and the experience of crafting a coffee, those are the ones that pretty much go with the hip coffee, as Mike was probably referring to you as the Ethiopians.
Well, Foster Hobbs is the only roastery here in High Point, the only one I would ever go to anyways. And I have known you all because we've worked together in previous engagements for a long time. But I feel like there's so many people that don't realize your story. Tell us a little bit about how Foster Hobbs got started.
Well, Mike flew for the airlines. He was in a cockpit and he was in hotel rooms, and he likes to stay busy and he loves architecture. And so he flew mostly overseas. And so all the really cool architecture actually happened to be coffee houses. And so he'd start going in there and asking them about coffee, and they would brew him coffee. And if there was something that he liked, he'd say, "Hey, can you put some in a bag for me? I want to take it back to America, and my wife and I will brew it." And it just became a great hobby. Probably a little bit, we started doing this probably the age that your daughters are right now.
Okay.
And then when our kids got into middle school, then I actually started needing coffee to be able to keep up with them. And I'm sorry, I'm telling a long story, but coffee just became a great hobby. And Mike just sort of started chasing coffee, and just, we started figuring out there's a difference in what's in your cup. And he took the leap. It was a leap of faith. He traded his wings for beans, and he started roasting. And since then, we've just been blessed by people who have fed into us what they've learned about coffee. And so we try to do that. I mean, that's why we're in High Point. This is our community, and we want to teach people and share great coffee with them. And if they hang out with us, they'll find out there are different processing methods. The way they process the beans, it's actually a fruit. And so there's a difference with how they pick it after they mill it. Are they going to keep it? Are they going to dry it with some fruit on it? Are they going to totally clean it all? But all of those kind of things make a difference in the cup. And so people who Mike said before were the hip, those are the people who are really, really trying to experience different, like just people like with, and I'm sure they do that with wine or bourbon or something like that, just trying to find different flavor notes.
In coffee, instead of the tasting, it's a cupping usually. That's
right.
Like a
That's
terminology
exactly right.
thing. I'm hip with that anyways. But I also wanted to share that with you and Mike, you all actually go to the farms.
Yes.
You will travel abroad and see where these beans are being sourced.
Yes. And that is probably the hardest but most rewarding experience. Because first of all, you want to get to know those people who are cultivating that land, who are taking care of those cherries. And you want to see how they're doing it so you can come back home and share that with with the people who are enjoying your coffee. But I love to go, even though I'm a homebody, I love to go. And even though I do not speak any other language except for a little bit of French in my Southern accent, I just like to go to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because from every bush that they're picking those cherries, you're only getting 1 pound of coffee. So it's very important that they do what they do well. So that, because it's precious, and we're very thankful for them. We're thankful for the people who ship it to us. We're thankful for the truck drivers that bring it to our roastery. We definitely don't take that for granted.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal when you start sitting and thinking about what these beans have journeyed to actually get to my my maker here in America. But that is really cool that you all have a firsthand grasp of being able to talk with the farmers, sourcing it the right ways to really know. And really what's special, I'll go ahead and say, if you come by Foster Hobbs and strike up a conversation with Mr. Mike or Pam, they'll tell you sometimes some of the interesting finds that even come out of the bags of coffee, which is really kind of unique and cool.
And you know what is so neat, Stephen, is I just get amazed at Mike Foster, because here he was captain with American Airlines, flying a jet. Now he's on a horse in Colombia talking to people about coffee. I mean, a totally different setting. And he's very comfortable, and he's very passionate, and he's very curious. It's really neat to see that relationship.
And you all make it look easy. It's not. You can't just go.
He makes it look easy, not me.
Well, to be fair, you just can't go grab a roaster and say, I'm in the coffee business now. It really is a craft that you all have worked hard at perfecting, and it comes out in every cup that I've had. I want to give you an opportunity, because we're coming up also here on really holiday stretch of happenings, ways that people can get some Foster Hobbs coffee if they'd like.
Oh, and they definitely should. It also makes great gifts, especially if you can say, the person who roasted it, or you can say that it was actually just roasted. Mike sort of says you wouldn't go to the grocery store and buy a commodity coffee on the shelf, from a shelf, and give it to someone, because you don't know when it was roasted. You don't know when it was ground. You just don't, there's not a history behind it. But they can go to fosterhobbs.com, and you can see all our different origins and blends. And we're particularly fond of our Christmas blend. We blend it because we were thinking about the true meaning of Christmas. And I was thinking about what would it tasted like, or felt like, or looked like in Bethlehem. So we pulled beans together that would make us think of a star glistening night in Bethlehem. Now, it might not be anything what I came together and envisioned.
What a star tastes
there.
like.
I wasn't there. So anyway.
That is really cool, though.
So, but the Christmas blend, and there's something about that red, shiny bag that people love. And we love being a part of that gift-giving process, too.
Well, I'm here to second it, that there are a lot of people out there with the same addiction I've got for coffee and iced coffee. And be sure to make Foster Hobbs a part of that gift-giving season. I will tell you that whoever's on the receiving end of that will be very appreciative. I know I will. And we appreciate you, Pam, for taking the time to share it with us.
Thank you. It's always a great time to talk with you, Stephen.
That was Pam Foster, fosterhobbs.com, if you're looking for those great gifts for this holiday season. And don't forget, as I said, I'm trying to give you some coffee from Foster Hobbs. If you can tell me the WSJS program from long ago, message the show, I'll give you a great, delicious bag of some of their beans from Colombia here on this Waking Up Proud. And after the break, we're going to tell you how the country is healing through trees. That's next.
This is the season, the perfect season. Henry Van Dyke summed it up quite well, I think, when he wrote, "I am thinking of you today because it's Christmas, and I wish you joy." The desire to share the feelings of the time. You know, the time for peace on earth, goodwill to all is here. This is the way it was intended to be, year-round. May the spirit of Christmas be yours today, tomorrow, and throughout the year to come.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life. Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
Where Carolina sports meets Carolina flavor. You're waking up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
Thanks for being back with us on Waking Up Proud here on WSJS. Proudsports.com all throughout the week. And just to remind everybody, because all this is brand new, you and me, my name is Steven. You can follow along with me on X at Stephen Beck PS. Hey, we're in the holiday stretch now. And I'll tell you, I have gotten my tree. I've actually got another member of the WSJS team here with me, a part of the drive with Josh Graham. It's here on WSJS every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. WD, do you have a tree?
I do have a tree. In fact, I put my tree up a couple of nights ago, a little bit later than I wanted to. I usually like to put it up the day after Thanksgiving, but I've been so busy covering games and you know that sports thing we talk about 3 to 6.
Yeah,
it's kind of delayed my tree decoration, but we got it up and it looks terrific.
Perfect. So I'm happy to hear that. If you are with us, call in, tell us if you have your tree, but more importantly than that, WD, same question for our listeners, and our number is 777-1600. Are you a real tree or a fake tree guy?
I'm a fake tree guy, but that's okay. I don't know
why. No, it's not okay.
Oh, it's not.
It's not okay.
I hate the judgment in your tone right now.
Yeah, well, judgment's here because the country is healing. Finally, we're uniting under the idea that a real Christmas tree is a part of the whole Christmas season, man.
Was that something we needed to be healed from? I was not aware of this.
Yeah, there's so many things this country needs to be healed from, and this isn't going to get into uber political at all. But what I want to say is that tariffs, something that is political, is solely going to be a component to me telling you how important real Christmas trees are for this holiday. because tariffs have driven up prices of WD's beloved fake tree. The price shift, according to something called the American Christmas Tree Association, which I had no idea was even a thing, says that 77 to 84% of people are all about the artificial tree. And for those 77 to 84% of people, tariffs have forced prices of those trees to elevate, to go up. And so now what people are doing is they're trying to shift backwards and considering real trees again. And for me, that's the spirit of the holiday. It's perfectly summarized in my mind from the movie that Clark Griswold's in. WD, you're a movie guy as well for the drive in the afternoon.
Oh, am I? The whole reason we have a segment about me watching a movie is because I'm not a movie guy. Unless
Have you seen Christmas Vacation?
Oh, yeah. No, we did that last year. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll know the part of Christmas Vacation then that I feel like exemplifies this to a T. In Christmas Vacation, part of the beloved Christmas classic that it is, the Griswold family is enjoying their festivities, and one of the cats gets tangled up into the lights, decides to chew it, and next thing the Griswold family realizes is that their tree that they had already done the right way, traversed out into the wilderness and chopped down and brought into their home, the real deal, burned up in flames, which part of my argument is that after the holiday is over, if you're a pyro like me, nothing's better than taking that bad boy outside and roasting it. You can't do that with your fake tree, can you, WD?
No, I don't think that would go very well.
So after the cat chews up the tree and it goes up in flames, it's the perfect Christmas dad, somebody I aspire to be. Clark Griswold, which I know he does spew off some stuff out of his mouth in anger and kind of is a loose cannon during this stretch of the movie. But he grabs his chainsaw, he cranks that bad boy up, not a blink in between the thought, heads outside, chops down another tree, drags that bad boy inside. And so my argument is today that is America.
I can appreciate that. I really do. I mean, listen, I have nothing against natural trees. Absolutely nothing at all. And you are right. When you burn them afterwards, I'm sure it does smell good. At least I think
the whole thing smells good.
At least
it's
I think
not just the burning after. I'm
the
saying like my house
the tree. It smells.
Yeah, it's infiltrated with pine.
Yeah,
aroma.
like in order for me to get that, and I do, I have to go to TJ Maxx and get like a pine scented candle, and that smells pretty great itself. But I can appreciate a natural tree. It just, I guess it takes a level of effort for me that I don't really want to put out right now.
You know, see, that's the problem right there.
Just get it out of a box and call it a day.
Yeah, that's part of my argument. As Americans, we just have gotten weak. And I say this, I do say this tongue in cheek, because honestly, I still, even though am a real tree advocate, as you can tell, I picked mine up off of a lot where somebody else actually did the difficult work and chopped it down. So
you didn't go chop.
No,
you didn't go take an axe into the woods. Like, let me get a tree. Let me pick one.
Well, but that is what I feel as if we all need to get back to. No, and part of this, though, from a whole different angle, I am an entrepreneur. And so I've owned businesses. Part of my spirit is entrepreneurship and capitalism is great. I'm all about making some dinero. The farms in North Carolina, believe it or not, where would you say that we rank in terms of Christmas tree farms?
Maybe top 20.
Way better than that. We're number 2.
That's not bad.
In the country, just behind Oregon in real trees. So as you guys potentially are considering going to get your tree today, go real. The tariffs are going to help you do it. It saves you money in the long haul. And be American, man. We're healing one step at a time. We'll be back here on Waking Up Proud.
Friday nights are electric on WSJS.
Back in the end zone, catch made, touchdown East for sight.
It's the Jerry Hunt Supercenter High School Football Game of the Week. The king of pre-owned vehicles in Lexington and Salisbury.
Underthrown and intercepted. Picked off by Grimsley, going back the other way.
The High School Football Game of the Week is also made possible by our friends at Play It Again Sports in High Point, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem. By Pat's Body Shop and Towing, providing exceptional auto body shop services for over 60 years.
Back shoulder throw, catch made, touchdown Mount Tabor.
Our proud sponsors help bring these games to life, like Dario Restaurants. Bring the whole family and taste the Dario difference today. And by Haviland Express Lube and Service in Kernersville, proud supporters of high school athletics.
There'll be a turnover on downs, and Reagan with the pressure will take over.
The Jerry Hunt Supercenter High School Football Game of the Week, right here on WSJS and online at WSJS.com.
Atlantic Coast Sports is pretty awesome. It is a gym right there, City Hall Street in Mount Airy. It's not just one thing. It's 3 levels. It's college sports apparel. It's sports equipment that you can purchase. It's custom embroidery. It's batting cages. It's golf simulators. It's a restaurant as well. Shout out to the Yard Goat, and also shout out to our friends Derek and Wes out that way at Atlantic Coast Sports, online at AtlanticCoastSports.com.
Open enrollment for health insurance starts in October. Learn how to avoid Medicare scams. What are the best plans? Hi, this is Jill Berlin. Join me Thursday mornings on the Jill Berlin Show to learn about your best health insurance options so that you can get the best care. We'll break it all down. Send me your questions. Jill at RSVP65.com. That's Jill at RSVP65.com. Plus, enjoy a positive quote and what's trending new online. The Jill Berlin Show, Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. on Triad Today on WSJS.
News, talk, sports for the Triad. WSJS, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, Burlington. Online at WSJS.com.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I don't think so. Okay. I'm gonna leave you that. Well, because you just said there's 8 mistakes.
Man.
Why are we not hearing the
What makes WSJS the Triad's choice? It's not just the voices you hear. It's not the breaking news, nor the sports scores. It's not even the sum of every talk show and special report crafted with insight and care. It's the connection we build, the moments and conversation that resonate and engage day after day. This is all we broadcast, but we broadcast it all so that in time, you can make it your own. Visit us online at WSJS.com.
It's pure delight to sip your morning brew and soul-soothing to savor every drop. Thanks to Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters, where every small batch is roasted to order, crafting flavors that dance on your palate. From smooth everyday blends to bold single origin roast, each cup is a journey around the globe. Fresh, flavorful, and fulfilling. Elevate your coffee experience at Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A higher quality coffee serving a higher calling. Available at fosterhobbs.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-791-1313. That's 800-791-1313.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Hey, this is Dana Lash. News Talk Sports for the Triad. WSJS is now your home for The Dana Show. Join me weekday afternoons at 2 as I break down the ridiculous politics and misleading news of the day. Don't miss The Dana Show with me, Dana Lash, on News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
Waking Up Prowled on WSJS. Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. The morning show that's always on the prowl.
Make way for the king.
This is Waking Up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
Ah, yes, it is Waking Up Proud, and happy Saturday to you. Prowledsports.com is our site. My name is Stephen. Follow me on X at Stephen Beck PS. Also at Proud Sports, and everything here a part of WSJS.com online. I'm just now finally waking up. So for all that you heard before this, we're into something now, because we're right down my wheelhouse. Part of my background, as I have been born and raised in High Point, North Carolina, is that I am a proud Panther. I am an HP alum, High Point University fan, and the team that I would say is our identity in athletics for the school. Our basketball program is off to another great start this season. One that you will take for granted, quite honestly, if you're a High Point Panthers fan. I've said last season that, man, these are the good days. That's a year where, if you're not familiar with High Point, we went to the NCAA tournament. We won the Big South as well, and received a lot of good publicity and notoriety for it. But at that time, I said, man, we're in the good old days. And again, this season, under a new head coach, Flynn Clayman, we're right back where we were. And yes, our team did have a hiccup a couple of nights ago inside the Quabain Center against Southern Illinois. We've talked about a lot of that. If you're really a High Point Panthers fan, I'll tell you, join us on our podcast. It's called the Prowled Panthers Podcast. You can find it on prowledsports.com, but also all the other platforms that you can get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify. But on that podcast, we talked a lot about that game and why we got there. Well, last night, High Point played NJIT, a bounce-back game for the Panthers. They did win that one, 89-72. I promised my Panther faithful that follows me personally closely words from head coach Flynn Clayman after the game. High Point wins and beats NJIT tonight inside the Quabain Center 89-72. Head coach Flynn Clayman with us. Flynn, how are you?
Doing good. How's everybody doing? Thank you, Panther Nation, for coming out tonight. We had a fantastic crowd. I love to see it, and we need to keep up this great home court advantage, but doing great.
We're here to talk hoops, but I have to say, brand new white kicks on, and a guy like me would scuff those bad boys in 2 seconds. So my question, can I call you White Lightning from here on out?
Hey, if it's going to lead to a win, if it's going to help us get W's, you call me whatever you want.
Sharp-looking guy is Coach Clayman with us. Tonight was important, I feel, because of two things. One, we just had a game a couple of nights ago here inside the Quabain Center, and piggybacking off of that, it was unfortunate the way that it ended and turned out. So how does it feel to be able to come back out tonight and succeed?
It feels great. I mean, I'm proud of where our team is at this kind of break point in the season. We're heading into finals. We don't have a game for 9 days. We're 8-2. I haven't checked where we are right now, but I'm big into the analytics. But we're about 25 spots up where we were from preseason rankings in terms of KenPom. We are the highest that our program's ever been at this point. We're about 45 spots higher than we were last year at about this point. And we're talking a bunch of new guys coming together, putting their egos aside, and trying to win for High Point University. The other night was very hard on them. But they showed their character tonight and their ability to respond. And then even tonight, there was a little adversity. I mean, that team is scrappy. They've gone on the road and beaten Fordham. They've beaten 2 other Division I teams. They are a risky shot-taking team. And when they start making some of those bomb threes, the game can get interesting. It got to 9 points in the second half. We didn't waver with confidence. That showed our character also. So proud of the guys.
You referenced the three-point shot, one in college basketball that you would argue is pretty important for success load. My question is, because some High Point fans are curious to know, are you willing sometimes with regards to the way you try to prepare defensively to allow a team to take those risks on those longer range shots?
No, I would say, in terms of like our last game, there was just some blatant lack of effort on some not rotating and not closing out to people. And then I got to obviously go to the film, but I saw a few more mistakes tonight and where they got a couple threes. Now, you can obviously get threes against any defense. In today's basketball, some of the worst defenses in Division I basketball take away the most threes, believe it or not. And some of those teams have been in our conference the last couple of years. Our conference is a very packed-in conference. It's a conference that lives at the free throw line. It's been the second in free throw rate the last couple of years. That's pretty consistent all around mid-major basketball. So our goal is to take away the paint, but I can promise that some of these threes that are wide open are mistakes. We are not supposed to be giving up wide open threes.
Well, now you're going to have to turn into a completely different coaching staff to really coach the guys to get to their tests on time and be ready for finals. But other than that, how is prep time going to look over the next week, getting ready for our next matchup with App State?
Yeah, I mean, it gives you obviously finals are super important, and our guys are fantastic students. We're actually I love where we are academically. I want a graphic for a GPA record coming out soon, but I don't want to jinx it because we still got to get these finals right. But this 9-day period is a chance to regroup, be appreciative of where we are, but look at some things that we've messed up on and that we need to improve on, and there are plenty. So that's what these 9 days, I believe, are about. We looked at our schedule and we see a couple opportunities to improve ourselves. Once you start getting to games, it gets tough sometimes to really work on yourself and improve yourself because the games come so fast. So these 9 days will be critical.
In a few words, for our fans that probably have some similar households that have some App State Mountaineers folks sharing the same space, what do you see from that team looking ahead?
Well, first and foremost, Dustin Kearns is a very good basketball coach. They're scrappy. They're a little younger than they've been. So they have struggled relative to past seasons, but they're having a solid year. And we appreciate them doing this basically a home and home on neutral court type thing. This is something that we'd like to keep up with good local mid-major programs, and it takes somebody willing to play to do it. You can't just play yourself. So we're looking forward to going down there to Hickory and having a good basketball game with them.
As always, appreciative of the time, Coach.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
That was head coach Flynn Clayman joining us here on Waking Up Proud. And the Panthers last night with the win, 89-72, moving to 8-2 on the season. I worked with the men's basketball program during my time at HPU. And a lot of times from a fan's perspective, which is where I now sit, and I'm a big one, we like to get into the weeds a little bit and say, well, that win wasn't as pretty as we would have liked to have been. High Point in this game, honestly, let NJIT finish the game on a 7-0 run, and that skewed the score a little bit here, but we still won by 17 points. Some of the things for me from the Southern Illinois game that I wanted to see out of this contest, for me, quite frankly, it didn't matter who we were playing next game up. Coming off of the loss and the way that we were up by 12 against the Salukis and realizing that they won on a last-second lay-in, essentially at the buzzer, I wanted to just see some things that in a very short period of time, 2 days turnaround, might have been altered and might have been improved. And the biggest argument I can make for that was last night in the second half of that game, one that I was at enjoying with my family, was to see the Panthers let NJIT in some respects get back into the game in the second half, just being down by 7 points. 7-9, something like that in the second half. And instead of letting them continue back in the game, we got stops, turned them over for a full number of 19 times in the game, and we were able to close. We took care of the business that we needed to. So, yeah, while things may not have been as pretty as we would have liked to have seen them and get the style points from, the win was still there nonetheless. So High Point gets a week off now before they go and take on another in-state foe, one that you heard there, Coach Clayman mentioning this. I, too, am a fan. When we can take on other good mid-major programs within our state's borders, I think it's a must schedule. But like he said, you got to have others that are willing to do it. So excited for that game coming up in a little over a week. So they'll have time to do their exams, but then also prep for that one to where High Point beat the Mountaineers in this home and home scheduling a season ago at the Swarms Arena in Greensboro. So I'm sure that App State will be looking to try to return serve a little bit there. And the Panthers will continue to look building off of this win against NJIT. Coming up after the break here on Waking Up Proud, it is Championship Saturday. My question is, now that I've kind of distanced myself a little bit, what is the identity of the ACC? That's next.
When the holiday season arrives, the joy of giving becomes more meaningful than ever. For 25 years, the boss lady, Anita Dean Arnett from our sister station, The Light, has been sharing love with Triad families for 25 years. We at WSJS are thrilled to join her in this heartfelt mission. Imagine the sparkle in a child's eyes when they unwrapped a gift they never expected. That's the magic we want to create this Christmas.
Christmas miracle.
Help us make dreams come true by donating new unwrapped toys for boys and girls ages 1 through 10. Drop them off at 4405 Providence Lane, Suite D in Winston-Salem. If you need assistance, email christmas@truthnetwork.com with your children's ages and gender by December 12th. Thank you to our sponsors, the law offices of Timothy D. Wellborn, Barrio, and Piedmont Trucks. Your kindness can turn a simple moment into a cherished memory. Get all the details at WSJS.com.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
The Drive with Josh Graham.
A clip goes viral of me lighting up the commissioner while holding a plate of egg roll bites. Hey, it's Josh Graham here from The Drive, and we hope you're enjoying conference championship weekend in college football. For among the matchups, the Duke Blue Devils in the ACC championship game. We'll have reaction to that on Monday's show, in addition to the college football playoff bracket in hand. 3 to 6 p.m. It's The Drive, right here on WSJS.
Fans first, always. Waking up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
It's Waking Up Proud here on WSJS, and I am Steven. Thanks for being with us early this Saturday morning. One that is honestly a big day in sports. You hear a lot of sports here on News, Sports, and Talk of the Triad, and part of that is The Drive with Josh Graham and WD in the studio with me this morning, just making sure, quite honestly, I don't wreck the full ship here that we're trying to steer.
Nothing's wrecked so far.
No, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Just took me a while to wake up, honestly. I'm not used to getting up this early on Saturdays yet. But today, as part of this big sports day, is Championship Saturday, college football. And I have a bit of a past as an ACC fan. Now, my allegiance lies, as you just heard, with High Point University. They don't have a football program. I don't think they should have a football program, for the record. So maybe we'll get into that at some point. You can always call and we can debate that one, 777-1600. But I used to be an NC State fan, grew up that way. And it's unfortunate in a lot of cases, probably. But now I don't have an allegiance other than the fact that I would like to see the ACC have an actual identity. And so if you can tell me what that is, please give us a call that way as well. Because in college football right now, there's the chance, a real possibility, honestly, that if Duke wins today's championship game against Miami, that they could miss out on the college football playoff. Which I have a question here for Mr. Dalton, a part of the Drive program. The host of that show earlier this week said that those paying tons of attention to the result of this game and how important that is, he said that folks like that are booger eaters. Am I a booger eater?
No, I'm not going to call you a booger eater.
I'm a booger picker. I'll tell you that.
That's terrific. I'm not gonna be as maybe forthcoming as that. But I do think stuff like this, and this is a game I'm going to be at tonight between Duke and Virginia. It's discourse like the whole, well, if Duke wins, this is bad for the ACC because they might not get a team into the college football playoff. Sure. Is that a possibility? Yes. But stuff like that takes away from the fact that Duke hasn't been to the ACC title since 2013.
That's a great story.
And Duke, they haven't won an outright ACC title since 62, I think it was. They shared the ACC title in 89. Oddly enough, with Virginia. So that's the last time they've actually kind of sort of won the title, but they had to share it. So it does kind of take away some of that, but I do understand I try to see both sides of it. I do understand the fact that, yeah, this would really kind of suck if the ACC doesn't get a college football playoff team in. I'm not so sure that's going to happen.
Yeah,
even if Duke wins, by the way.
I don't know about that one. That one would be a very interesting scenario. Tulane did win. For those that are just waking up here on a Saturday morning with us, Tulane won last night 34-21, so they've checked their box. They're in. They beat North Texas. The other game that had a lot of significance with it is JMU, and they also won 31-14. So they both teams took care of their business, and today there's a big toss-up as to, okay, is it going to be Duke that wins, or is it going to be Miami? And to be 100% honest with you, somebody that I do respect, and I appreciate your angle, WD, to say that, hey, Duke hasn't been here. It's a great story. There's somebody that I respect all of this. That is Manny Diaz, head coach of the Blue Devils. I feel like he is somebody that has a good argument for sure.
Win this game. Do you think that Duke deserves to be in the college football playoff despite 5 losses?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's so many layers to that, and we see this every year, and it's so silly. Records have a lot to do with schedules, right? We have 5 losses. We wish we'd have played better in those games. We've lost to 2 10-win teams, 2 9-win teams, and an 8-win team. We've gone on the road. 2 of our losses were 1-score games on the road to a group of 5 school, to again a 9-win and a 10-win group of 5 school. And if this is the issue, that'll just never happen again. And so the whole argument of should a group of 5 conference be in the playoff at the ACC's expense? Well, you can forget about ever booking a home and home game, right? And encouraging teams to go play good competition at home and away. Because we could have just scheduled better and had 9 wins, and that wouldn't have been very difficult. If we'd have played last year's schedule, we would have had this would be a 9-win team. And it's very similar to me to what I heard Sark mention, whether Texas deserves to be in or not. But what's the point of playing Ohio State?
Sold for me. He's got a great argument. I think scheduling teams out of conference should matter, and I don't want to see anything with regards to college football that turns into a cupcake where all that matters is conference play. But what I would equally share is if they're 7-5, and I look down through strength of schedule, they're behind others like NC State. I already mentioned them. I was once a fan. Navy, Wake, ECU, some of these other names. And WD, you're saying that you think if they win, they're in.
I think so, because this college football playoff committee is so it's such a joke, dude. I mean, it's like they show all the time that they lack, I don't want to say lack credibility, but they spin things all the time, and half the time, week to week, it seems like they're just coming up with stuff on, like, how does Miami beat Notre Dame head to head? And that doesn't matter. It's like, what are we talking? Like, I thought head to head on the field is like the ultimate. Who's better? Go play. Roll the ball out. Go play. Let's decide this on the field. And they beat them. But like, for some reason, we know probably the reasons, because Notre Dame's brand, and I mean, Miami has a big brand too, but it's just wild. But stuff like that. Okay, leaving out an unbeaten Florida State team a couple of years ago in favor, I think, for Alabama. I think it was. It's like stuff like that. You lose some credibility with people over that. And I just have a tough time believing with a committee like that, if Duke does beat Virginia, who is a 2-loss Virginia team tonight, well, that's a better win than anything JMU has. And in that scenario, I just find it difficult to believe that the committee is really going to leave the ACC, a power conference, out after that.
Right.
So I don't know that they want the backlash. I really don't.
Yeah, and that's fair too. You're playing off of the ineptest, of the actual committee, and I don't disagree with that at all. Here's where I will tell you, somebody that doesn't want Duke to win, and this is going to sound funny, but I think it's very true. I don't think the Atlantic Coast Conference wants Duke to win tonight. I just don't see how they would desire that. Right now, the ACC doesn't have an identity. They have an identity problem. Used to be a basketball-laden conference. It started right in our neck of the woods, Greensboro, North Carolina, built off of programs that have a great storied history, obviously, in basketball. Well, now college football has become more of a desire, and so they're trying to build off of that. Well, if your winner of your league misses out on the biggest prize of the season, and that is the college football playoff, I don't really understand what your identity is even anymore. And so here's what's funny. I don't know if you heard this, WD, but the ACC network, whom the conference has really, I would say, a lot of autonomy over, they aired Miami's win over Notre Dame earlier this season, 27-24, 13 times over the last week.
Is that right?
13 times.
Is that why I kept seeing it on Hulu?
Correct. They're making
terrific.
their stake, their claim to say, we got to have Miami win this thing. We'll be back with more here on Waking Up Prowled.
Duke Blue Devils football is right here on WSJS. Don't miss out on the action made possible by First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Muscle, Small Town Hustle, and heard exclusively on WSJS, along with the Duke Daily Report and the Duke Football Radio Show. Tonight, the Blue Devils and Cavaliers meet in Charlotte for the ACC Championship game. All in, all blue, all on WSJS.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon, with big bank reliability and small bank resolve. You get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar! La, 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 la.
Carolina Sports, Carolina Pride.
3, 2, 1.
Here's Stephen Beck on Waking Up Prowled.
I am Steven, and this is Waking Up Prowled, part of the Prowled Sports family, prowledsports.com. And just for those, because I was really trying to be cute when I started all this and piggyback off of Prowler, the mascot at High Point University, Prowled is spelled Prowled, sports.com. But it's supposed to be a play on words and be cute to wake up and get started this morning. Super proud for the day, which I too am now that I'm deeper into this second hour and my coffee's finally hitting. And that's thanks to our friends at Foster Hobbs. Today, though, not only is Championship Saturday, but it's also Trade Anything Day. Trade Anything Day is going on at all GameStop locations in the Triad area. And let me tell you a little bit of something about it. I am not as much of a gamer anymore. I have a family now. I'm married, a couple of kids, own a couple of businesses. So sadly, my schedule doesn't set up and allow me to spend the time that I would like to enjoy myself and play a couple of video games. I was always more of a sports video game guy. But today at GameStop locations, the place where I don't really even know that they're necessary anymore because, quite frankly, my console, you can just download it right there. You don't even have hard copies anymore. But I think that's part of this. GameStop decided to do a marketing endeavor called Trade Anything Day today, where if you have a 20 by 20 by 20 box and you want to try to shove some of your junk in it, quite frankly, go to their location, shell it out over the counter to them, then they're now saying they'll give you $5 credit for it. And I'll tell you, actually, coming up here in a minute, that they are at the same time willing to give you a lot more trade-in credit than actually what you could get with that $5, because they recently took in something and made a trade that had a lot larger value with it. But before we do that, I wanted to bring in a friend of mine, Cinema Seth, a guy that is big-time movie person, a big-time video game person, tech guru, videographer. I mean, he's got it all going on. But I had to send somebody out there because I couldn't be a man on the scene. Seth, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you waking up today for us all and heading to a GameStop location. Tell us what the scene's like. What's going on? Is there action? Are there people there making the trade-ins? Is this marketing scheme working for them?
Yeah, so far it's a little bit quiet. I'd say there's probably about 4 people in there by the time I was there. Nobody had taken advantage of the Trade Anything Day, but kind of like what you were mentioning, I think this was kind of a idea to get more people into the store, because I'm somebody who I don't even think I've bought a physical video game in like 3 years. All of it's been digital. So yeah, I'm definitely one of the ones that they would probably want to get back in the store.
But that's kind of disappointing, right? I mean, that's sad. They make this big PR push, nationwide story to say we're willing to take in your junk essentially and let you have $5 for it, and nobody's out there taking advantage of that. That flopped.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was talking with one of the employees there, I got to ask him a few questions, and he said that in his opinion, he feels like that they kind of went a little bit more for virality in terms of the branding of this whole thing instead of what they're more actually looking for, because they do have the 20 by 20 by 20 box, and anything that will fit in there, like they would take, with some exceptions. Like he even told me like they would take some taxidermy items, not the actual animals, but like some of the tools you would use for taxidermy stuff. Like that's something that's on the list that they would take. And I asked him if he feels like he's going to have any like weird stuff so far, or he's had anything weird so far. He thinks he's going to get anything weird. And he said that he feels like most people at this point have an idea of kind of like what not to bring. So he doesn't really expect too many weird things. But one thing that I learned from him that I did not know going into this is that specifically at this store in Thomasville, they're looking more for lightly used clothes and some canned food items. Of course, the employees have discretion on what to take. So if you bring something and they're like, well, we don't really want this, then they can tell you no. But the stores actually decide what to do with the items that are brought.
But Seth, I don't want to interrupt you. And this is Cinema Seth joining us here, Waking Up Proud. He's my man on the scene right now for this Trade Anything Day out there. But right there, that sets up for a risque, kind of precarious scenario for an employee. So I was wondering if you asked them if they were prepared for debate. I mean, negotiation, the art of the deal, so to speak, is something I personally enjoy. I love it. I could go try it, and I have too often go and try to purchase a car and work out a deal that goes more in my favor. That's just something I personally enjoy. However, if you show up and you feel as if you have something of value, but they say like, nah, that's no good, we don't want that, are they worried as employees that they could end up in some serious disagreements here?
Yeah, that's a potential issue, but I think they're trying to be as clear as possible whenever somebody walks in and wants to participate in the trade anything day, that they have the right to say no. And so since he said that what their store is looking for more like canned food, more lightly used clothes, he said a lot of other stores are actually looking for that too. And in his opinion, he says that he thinks that it might not should have really been advertised as a trade anything day. Should have been more upfront that this is supposed to kind of be more for charity. But he thought it would be better to have advertised it more as like a holiday drive instead of just a, hey, come give us whatever and we'll give you $5 store credit for it.
Seth, I appreciate you waking up this morning, doing the hard work out there that I wasn't able to do. And I appreciate you joining us this morning, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on.
So I just feel like that's a sham, to be honest, a little bit. Not that that is a bad thing to do. I am all about giving back. I definitely think that this time of year, that is something that needs to happen. But I was expecting it to go more in the way of changing maybe their direction as a full store. As Seth shared there, and I would say this for myself too, you don't need the physical copy of the actual games anymore, the things that they've actually specialized in selling, because the new PS that I have, and I think this is the same with Xbox, you just don't have to have a physical copy anymore. But there was a recent trade that they made. I wanted to make sure of mentioning this, and this is the direction I really felt like GameStop was going in. They paid $30,000, over $30,000 for some type of Pokemon card. And I'm not into Pokemon, but it's the highest trade payout that GameStop has ever made. They took in the card, gave these people the money back. And that's the direction, quite frankly, I felt like Trade Anything Day would be more about. Switching their branding, trying to get people in the store, taking in stuff that maybe they could resell. All in all, to me, it's a great thing. It sounds for getting rid of clothing and other items that you may not desire, but I am not hearing that it's done a ton for GameStop locations from Seth this morning in the Triad. Coming up after the break, have you heard about Sally in High Point? We're going to close out the show with that next.
And now, we take a short break from our typical confrontational, controversial, and sometimes contentious programming to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all our troops serving overseas.
Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you from all of us at WSJS.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Public ice skating is happening at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Join them for public skating hours, no school skate days, holiday skating, group skating lessons, and party time skating, because parties on ice are the best. Visit WSFairgrounds.com for more information. Public ice skating is open at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, your one-stop source for entertainment in Winston-Salem.
When you grill with Kingsford charcoal and add Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters, your special occasion becomes unforgettable. Wow! Made with 100% real spices, Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters can be added to any pre-lit charcoal to add a whole new, rich, full-bodied flavor and aroma to your spring grilling. So good. Look for Kingsford charcoal and Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters for a mouth-watering flavor experience. Kingsford.com.
Again, Scent Beat Story.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent maracas smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeffrey Griffin. Join me and Christian Snyder and kick off your work week with Cookies with Santa, magical musical moments. Hooray for Hollywood! Plus, we'll get in touch with the gang at the Winston-Salem Symphony, McAdenville, and the Winston-Salem Pops Chorus. That and a whole lot more on Triad today.
Turn me up.
Let's go! Carolina mornings start here on WSJS with Stephen Beck and Waking Up Prowled.
It's been a real pleasure to be a part of your morning here on WSJS, Waking Up Proud. I am Stephen, and I hope you'll follow along with me at Stephen Beck PS on X, prowledsports.com throughout the week. And as long as the suits will have me, I look forward to being here every Saturday morning from 9 to 11. But this morning, with all the other big things happening, and we did have the large, enormous weather event yesterday that was being teased and talked about by local meteorologists, I wanted to tell you about a story that WCNC in Charlotte ran. That is a Charlotte-based news outlet. Like most news organizations, I feel like weather has to be one of their, if not their top and leading category. It is for me. I'll tell you, local news, man, if you want to be depressed, that's where you go. So I steer clear oftentimes, but they wrote a story this week stating that meteorologists will consistently beat your phone's weather app. I, for weather updates, am an app guy. I immediately open up my phone, tap up whatever app you want to use, and that's where I'm getting my updates for the day. But they say that human meteorologists are going to always be better than the phone weather apps because the apps are just going off of raw computer models, and the meteorologists are able to have more context and experience. And yeah, we kind of know the little nooks and crannies of our local area. I'm not saying that meteorology is something that's easy for anybody, but I really thought that they used the same computer models that the app's using in a lot of cases. And so a day ago, where they're obviously talking snow and ice, and we may wake up with sleet out there, and these are coming from meteorologists, it's kind of funny that they're calling for these things and they don't happen, yet they're willing to go to war with with the apps on our phone and say that they'll consistently outdo them, which is probably much deeper than that. It goes into a whole thing around AI and new tech, and obviously we got a lot of people out there that don't want to lose their jobs, so we got to kind of argue for why we need to stay in control. But I would say that the app and the meteorologist are essentially one and the same. They're looking at the same models, a lot of times looking at the same forecasts. And those folks, yes, they study it. They're constantly looking at it, but they're no real better upgrade than what's at the tap of a finger. I'll tell you another thing that has been a lot of fun for local people, and that is Sally. Sally is a troll located in High Point, and it's really nuts that High Point is one of the locations of these bad boys. This one happens to be a girl, but I want to bring WD back in just to ask, have you heard of these trolls like High Point now has?
No. High Point has trolls?
A troll created by a man named Thomas Dambo. They are these enormously large recycled creation, essentially an art infrastructure that this gentleman goes across the country to put up. And it captivates me, quite honestly. Not that I'm against art and installations at all. I think it's cool, and I'm happy that High Point is a chosen location. It's better for our local area. But once you've seen the troll or a troll, because they're in different locations as well. They're in Raleigh and they're up towards the mountains. And
look at a picture of this.
Yeah, please pull it up. They are in a lot of different areas, but once you've seen it,
I don't like that.
Well, once you've seen it though, what is the next step after that? You take your picture, you go do it one time, and then after that, what's it all about? Why are people fascinated by these things?
I mean, it's massive. I'm seeing people take pictures next to it, and it's like, listen, I love art as much as the next guy. That thing is hideous.
Would you go and take a picture with it?
No. No. I would not look at this and think, I want to go stand next to it and get a photograph of myself.
There are now
not interested.
In my proper research over this topic and getting prep on it, I got swallowed up by the inevitable algorithm that phones produce based off of your recent searches and history. And I started being bombarded with imagery of people with the troll and Facebook-oriented groups that centered around trekking after Thomas Dambo trolls all across the country. There is only one aspect to this that I do say is worth the while. A part of the troll creation, we'll call it, is a scavenger hunt. And that is that each troll, I know in North Carolina, holds clues to where the other locales are of these said trolls. So if anything, it is somewhat of a game. Were you a for instance, like a Pokemon Go or whatever that was that happened a year or two or however long ago?
So that happened around probably the 2017, 18, 19, maybe even 16 range when I was in college around that time. I know it was massive. It was like the number one app on the App Store or Google Store or whatever, if you got an Android, forever. I never really got into it. I thought the concept of it was really cool. I was never a Pokemon guy growing up, so it didn't really appeal to me all that much. But the fact that you could go out and about and literally look on your phone and find these things, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, so my wife and my daughters went to see Sally in High Point. The location, I can't give it to you. That's part of the mystique. So you'll have to go out and search throughout the city limits to find Sally. But my wife and I have had various discussions over this because I genuinely am interested. What's the whole deal here? After you've seen it once, I mean, it's kind of the end is over. And why are people really that captivated by this deal? And the only thing that I would agree with that she did say, because I have two young daughters and this generation is different than the one before. Like I'm sure I was different than the ones before me. And they don't want to really go outside anymore. They would prefer to be on a device and sit and look at a screen. And so to your point, WD, about this Pokemon Go, the part that you liked was that you're out and about. So from that perspective, I would say that Sally and these other Dambo trolls do help get people out and about.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, it's certainly a novelty. It's like, oh, we got to go see this thing. I mean, I have no interest in going to take a picture next to it because I think it's hideous. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. That doesn't mean anybody else shouldn't. And I mean, anything that can get you outside is a good touch grass. I mean, listen, I love electronics and video games as much as anybody.
Are you a grounder?
A what?
A grounder?
What's that?
You've never heard of grounding either?
Oh, you mean like for electricity?
Well, that's a component of it, and I wouldn't say that I'm some type of proficient grounder here. But okay, you said touch grass, so give you a little bit of context here. There are also studies that have shown that people that go outside, at least I think it's daily, and put their feet in the soil, touch the bare grass. It's called grounding.
Okay, I do know what that is. That is a meditative practice.
I didn't know it was meditative. I mean, thought it was like
it doesn't have to be meditative, but it is kind of making you one with the earth, one with nature. That's the whole point. So yes, I do know what that is. I never heard of it, somebody doing that being called a grounder, but I didn't know there was a term for it. But that is a real thing, and I'm for it. I do like that.
So what you're with me here probably is to say is if you're going to go see Sally, take your shoes off.
Yes.
Get one with the whole experience.
And ground next to her.
And make it more of a meditation as opposed to...
Sure.
Well, she is in High Point. Today may or may not be the best weather day to revert back to the story. You have to listen to your local meteorologist. I'll be looking at my app. But, once you get some free time, maybe you'll see if I can steal WD away from his sports life that centers around the drive with Josh Graham here on this station every weekday afternoon. We may have to go out, do some meditation around Sally, get our picture taken to come on social media at Stephen Beck PS. I've got an interesting day ahead for me, a tease for next week's Waking Up Proud right here on Saturday morning. I'll tell you what it is. I am a gymnastics dad now. My youngest daughter begins her career as a gymnast in an exhibition today. And I'll tell you, there's TV shows and things out there. What's the TV show? Is it like Dance Moms or...
Dance Moms.
Is that right? Is that the show I'm trying to think of?
Where there's all the drama and
right.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
So believe it or not, there are window moms at gymnastics where they suction cup up close to the glass that's similar to this in the studio that we have and just box out everybody else that wants to get a view so they can make sure that they know what's going on with the triple sow cow or whatever else that the gymnast has to complete in their routine.
I believe that. I do. You don't want to miss that.
Do I look like a gymnastics dad to you? You think I could pull that off?
Could you pull it off? Yeah. Do you look like one? No. That wouldn't be my first guess.
Okay.
I don't know what type of sport dad you look like actually.
I'll tell you, we talked High Point basketball earlier in the show.
Yeah.
And when I go to college basketball games, that is my real, I would say, joy is to just lay into some officiating and get out there and yell and scream.
You look like that type.
Yeah,
I could see it.
Absolutely. I'm very much that type. So today, I don't know if it's kosher or not to yell and scream at the judges given whatever ranking of
Let's
my daughters.
find out. Let's find out. The heck with it.
If you see the story, local man arrested at gymnastics studio.
You'll know there won't be a show next week.
We're going to hope that the suits sign off on a show for next week. Excited to get it underway nonetheless. And we look forward to you joining us again next weekend, same time, same place, 9 to 11, waking up proud. In the meantime, we hope you'll join us on prowledsports.com, and we'll see you next time.
Spartan Nation.
Swish! He hit it!
When blue and gold pride fills the air.
The jumper, it is good!
Mount Tabor basketball on our sister station, AM 1340 and 103.5 FM, The Light.
Step back triple try, yes sir!
Spartans basketball, presented by Jerry Hudd Super Center, the king of pre-owned vehicles in Lexington and Salisbury.
Lobs it up for a power slam dunk.
Mount Tabor basketball is also made possible by our friends at Clemens Carpet, your premier Shaw flooring store. By Black Sand Company, your landscape, your way, every day.
Catching 2-3, rattles it down from the right wing.
Our proud sponsors help bring these games to life, like A1.